Hello everybody, my name's Sarah, and today on this glorious day, I hope it's sunny where you are, we're going to be looking at and making some sun catchers, a bit like this. I don't know if you can see the colours. I made this particular sun catcher a few years ago now because the colours are green, white and purple, and it was to commemorate the centenary of women having the right to vote. So that must have been 2018, was it? So it's quite a few days in the innocent days pre-COVID, of course. Okay, so first thing that we need is this part, our frame, if you like, that we're going to be working on today. And you can use really anything that's suitable. I've got, this is a twig that I picked up on a walk, and I just really liked it. A bit gnarly, but I am planning to use that at some point. And this is crafting driftwood, so it's already kind of sanded down. You can pick these up online. And another piece that I picked up myself and I've sanded down. I did say on the instructions are approximately 15 centimetres. This particular piece is about 14 centimetres. This is smaller, this one's smaller, obviously. This one works as well. Good afternoon, Irene. Yeah, so we've got our first bit, the structure that we can hang our beads from. So for the purposes of the hanging beads, I will be using the flat surface. As you can see, there's a side that's curved, and there's a knobbly bit, and then there's a quite nice flat surface which has got a line, the tree running through it. Assume it's outside. So we want to then measure out our spacing, if you like, for our eyelets. So we want 5 eyelets, which you can pick up from most hardware stores. And I use these quite a lot for different things. So we want to think about where we space our beads. And obviously you can measure. So as I said, this one's approximately about 14 centimetres. But I'm going to probably do this by eye. So if we get a marker pen, I will, so let me just move this down so you can see a bit more. So I'm going to start from that side, and then I'm going to start mark that side. So we want 5. You can choose, obviously, you know. The world's your oyster. You can go for 6, you go 4. So let's do one in the middle. Looking like they're approximately an inch apart. Approximately, just a bit under. We've got our 5 dots then, where I'm going to put the eyelets. So in terms of what I find makes it easier with eyelets, or screwing eyelets in, is getting a hammer and just making a little bit of a mark in the wood first that we can screw into. Now obviously this, I'm going to move these out of the way. This piece is obviously curved on the bottom, so it just makes it a little bit trickier in terms of banging these nails in. So just be mindful. You could do it the other way around, obviously, if you wanted to. Just going to make a little bit of a mark in each hole. And these do look lovely in a window, sparkle in the window on a sunny day. And they're a lovely gift idea as well. I am making this as a gift actually for someone that I'm going to visit this weekend. They don't need to go in too deep with those. And then we're going to screw in our eyelets. So you do have to kind of press in quite firmly. But as you've already made a kind of hole, it shouldn't be too bad. It's just, you can get some pliers as well, small pliers to help you if you need that extra bit of oomph. I might need an extra bit of oomph. Just checking to see if there's any messages. Thank you for joining me today. It's a lovely way to spend Friday the 13th. We're letting the light in on Friday the 13th with our Suncatchers today. Oh, just one more. So they all want to be lined up, all so they're all facing the right way, the same way, obviously. I think you know we're going to be moving on to the wire. You could wrap the wire, not the wire, and wrap the wire around the wood. I think this just adds a little bit more sophistication, shall we say, and just makes it a little bit more professional. And probably a little bit more structurally sound as well. Okay. Oops. Number 4. Great. So you can see that. You can see that okay. And finally, great. Now so we've got pretty much got the 5 eyelets in now. One last little turn. Can be quite tough. We've obviously got to think about the hanger as well. I'm going to choose to use a bit of wire at the end when it's done. And what I'm going to do is make use of. I'm going to wrap it around and make use of the eyelets on each end, just to secure the wire for hanging. I think today, but you can use yarn, string. Anything. And also we're going to look at, if we've got time, how we can embellish our hanging wire. Okay. So now we're moving on to our onto the wire. Now you can think about lots of different designs actually for the wire. This particular one, as you can see, has a bit of a tether on it. I'm kind of, it's on a diagonal. Don't know if you can quite see that really, but it is. But you can have them all the same length. You could even think about a different design, like an inverted rainbow. So you attach the wires. A longer wire on that edge, a shorter wire in the middle, and then maybe a couple of big beads hanging from the center. So again, the world's your oyster. It's always a good idea to measure these wires out then. So I might go for the middle one being a bit shorter, maybe kind of like a V shape maybe today. So we want the length obviously that we that the beads are going to be hanging to. You want to be, it's up to you how long you want to go, or how short, really. Just thinking about the structure, and lots of beads can be heavy. And then we want a little bit extra, obviously, for tying. So I'm going to go there. Scissors, you can use small snippers, or scissors. Scissors work with this 28 gauge. Scissors work fine. They are really, really great, really flexible. So I poke the bit of copper wire. Now, obviously, you can get different colours of this beading wire, copper wire, and this is copper coloured. So it's aptly named. And this one, there's a green one. I've got a blue one as well. So yes, there's a whole host of choices. But then you might want to think about which kind of beads you're using, and whether the wire is going to show through, whether that's going to spoil the effect that you're aiming for. So we've poked it through the hole, and we want just a little bit, say like an inch, hanging over. And then we want to gently, I'd say, put it down. Gently wrap that round. A few times. And we could even snip that to make that overhang a little bit shorter. Great, so we've got our first wire on our bit of twig. This one's a bit of a cross between a craft twig and a bit of driftwood. I'm not really quite sure what we're just, but it's really, I really like it. I've been saving that as well. Great. Now you can choose whether you want to crack on with your beading at this stage, or you want to do all 5 wires. Sometimes doing the beads at this stage can be really helpful in terms of your if you want to have the wire at different lengths to create an effect. Sometimes it can kind of help you and be that marker to work from. Other times it can just be a nuisance because it can be in the way, basically. But I think I'm going to put some beads on. Don't think I need that hammer now, do I? So again, you can go with your design, your own design choice and colours. Another thing that's really useful, I think, that can be used is old jewellery. I found this bracelet. It looks like it had been handmade as well, actually. But I'm going to use someone else's handmade product for my own. Just going to cut that. Take these beads off. Lovely. You can always keep bits. If you're like me, keep bits. Oh, that'll come in useful for something else. Still there, 10 years later. But you never know. Sorry. Okay, so I've decided to go for a pinky design for this piece. I'm going to put those red ones over there. Don't think I need the black ones either. I'm just going to keep it light and summery. And I'm going to go with the mainly kind of pinks and clear. And I've got some love hearts. So I collect beads all the time. And I've got a tub of seed beads. And it's just nice to play with, really. But I'm going to show you something that we can use the seed beads for a little bit extra later. Hopefully, we've got time. So I'm going to start this first. I don't know what you call it. First line of beads. And I'm going to go with, for the very top, I took these off that bracelet just now, They're kind of they're metal, bit of alloy or something, and I'm just going to start each row of bead with this flat metally bead, which is the technical term. And then I'm going to go with the square one. So this top bit is obviously quite important because we're hiding our overhang, we're hiding our sins. So we want to push those first two or three beads right through, make sure that we catch that overhang there, just so that we keep that nice and tidy. And then I'm going to move on to the colour. Now, sometimes people like to have little seed beads in between each big bead. If you like, you might have seen that yourself, and with this kind of thing in jewellery as well. So I might go for the shiny one. Oops. Great. Okay, so now it's the fun bit. Well, where we just go crazy with our beads. I wanted to put a love heart on each, or three of the wires. I hope everyone can see this okay. And yeah, it's quite effective. Okay, I'm going to use one of these metal pieces as well now. And as I say, you can reuse jewellery. You might find a piece in charity shops that's got some lovely beads on. I had another piece. This is like a charm for a bag or something. That's got some lovely pieces on that I'm saving. Pick that up from a charity shop and saving that for another time. And you might be like me and have collected beads throughout your crafting career. Okay, what time are we? It's okay. Distracted by the beads. Get lost in beadland. Oops. So I'm just going to throw a few more on because I want to show you how to finish off a row. And a good tip of how to hopefully make it a little bit more secure at the end and just finish it off a little bit more professionally. There we go. Oh, there's a bead inside that bead. Okay, so where are we up to now? So I want just a little bit more length on there. Okay, a couple more. Yeah, that's it's taking shape. where's this 28 gauge is usually perfect, the perfect gauge for most beads, sequins, etc. And obviously, yeah, you could even include some sequins in your piece if you want a little bit more bling, a bit more shimmer. But actually, I think that's quite, I don't know if you can really see that it's catching the light on the screen, but that's looking lovely. Okay, so for the final piece, in fact, I'm just going to change that one around just because it's going to be easier if I use a bigger bead. Okay, so I've got some teardrop shaped beads. So if you've got something like that or something similar, that's a kind of like a rice shaped bead. So a bit more kind of long and thin. These teardrop size beads are perfect. So we're going to finish with one of those. And then we want to, this is the trickier bit really of the exercise. Let me just pull it up a little bit. Okay, so we've got our beads. Just straighten it out. They do get a little bit wonky, but that's, part of the charm, I'm afraid, with these beautiful handmade objects. And we want to twist that over that last bead. So hold it firmly against our base and then fold it over. And then catch it at the top of that bead and wrap it round that last bead. So just keeping that tension as we do it. Wrap that round. Now that should hold that in place, and we can just chop that. You can always tidy up bits later. There we go. Okay, I think, oops. Hello everybody who's joined us. Great, so we've got our first, and I think you can see it does shimmer nicely. It's got some crystal-like beads on it. It's quite posh. Any outstanding bits, any wayward bits of wire, we'll just. Oh, thank you very much. Already looking so good. Thank you, Suzanne. That's very kind of you. Now, as I say, the world's your oyster really with these things. You find any beautiful beads lying around. Obviously ask permission from people if you want to start deconstructing their jewellery. So I'm going to go up in a bit of a V shape for this one. So I want it to kind of be there. Let's move that down a bit, actually. So about there. A little bit to wrap over. So that should be fine. So yeah, I find that if I do the first line of beads first, that's a really great marker then. If I'm trying to create a bit of a pattern with my wires. I don't want to overhang too much this time. Now we're getting the knack of it. You can use less and less wire. Don't want to bunch it up too much. We want to kind of do fold it over and wrap it around the length rather than bunching it up, because obviously that's going to impact on you putting the beads through. Okay, let's So I'm going to do this one a little bit shorter, in a bit of a V shape or an M shape. I've got a plan because I have got, with this one, I've got some butterfly beads that are slightly different colour. So I'm going to go really kind of pink, and then a bit of a greeny one in the middle. These represent the flowers for the butterflies. That's my it's the plan anyway. And this one is very, very pinky. So, you know, it's great for any girls or boys who are really into their pinky Barbie colours. Being a little girl's room, actually. And they look nice in bathrooms as well. Right, so those long ones, how many have I got of those? I've only got three more of those, so I'm going to go for a big, and mix it up. Go for a big bead there. Oops. Beads are so lovely, so shiny. They just bring me joy. So there, we've got the two. Ooh, they've all come off. This is the fiddly bit. Bit of patience required sometimes with these. That's it. I'll try not to wiggle it about too much because I'm going to. It's better. Let me move it down again. Sorry. Now then, I had a flowery one. I'm sure that's going to work. Okay. So yeah, it's just the joy of working with beads again. So shiny. So work our way along to each line. Production line of beads. I'm going to put another one of these metal-y ones on there. I think they do kind of add a little bit, you know, because you don't have to use clear beads. You might be creating a piece for the garden, a decorative piece. And that, you know, that's the great thing about the wire and the driftwood, that, you know, as I say, you can go to town and create a whole host of creative and beautiful things. Yes, who has got lots of beads? Me. Okay. There we go. Right. So hold it up against your first piece so you can judge the size of your the length, of your next stem line. So I want it just a little bit longer. Okay. So for the end, I want another teardrop shaped piece. And again, hold it flush then against the board. And hold it quite tight, keep that tension, wrap that round. Okay, so that was, gosh, half an hour already. Gosh, I am having fun. Okay, great. Wrap it around one more time, bearing in mind I am giving this away to somebody. Secure that. Great, lovely. So as you can see, I've got the 2 different lengths there. Now with because I wanted to really show you this, so I am going to move on to the hanger. And here's a piece that I cut earlier, as I say. Now the great thing about is you can embellish the wire as well. One great tip when you're working with beads, you might want to, we seem to work okay with this, but with beads, as you probably know, they're very, very messy. And they can get everywhere, especially these seed beads. So if you've got a piece of material that's got a bit of a velvet flourish to it, this works really, really well as a bead mat and keeps those steady, stops them rolling about everywhere. So in terms of the hanger, you might want to also decorate the hanger. And for this, you can use these lovely seed beads, which does, again, require a lot of patience. This 28 gauge works really well with the seed bead, should work really well with the seed bead, or micro beads, whatever you like to call them. And you can go for a really lovely, beautifully multicolored piece. It's very akin to a lot of First Nation crafts, African crafts as well. I mean, some of the beadwork, I don't know if you've seen any of their work at a show about the Maasai tribe in Kenya. The detail, the intricacy of the work is incredible. But yeah, so we can work along and create an embellished hanger as well. And obviously, yes, you can use string for this as well. Yeah, absolutely. So, you can catch up with the session later if it's something that you want to try and you need to go and grab some more pieces for yourself. Then, yeah, it's there on the Virtual Village Hall Facebook page. And as I say, it's a really lovely gift for somebody as well. Lovely in a conservatory. Yeah, so we get the idea. But yeah, these velvet mats are perfect for preventing beads flying everywhere. And I just think that this is, adds another little extra bit of colour and design to your piece. So once you've chosen or put enough, as many beads as you'd like on your hanging wire, as I have nicknamed it, we are going to go back to, so just lift this up, pull that back into the tub. That's worked beautifully, actually, that velvet mat today. So as I said, we've got we'll have our lines on there, 5 of them, and then we're just going to, for the hanger, we're just going to put that through the last eyelet on this edge, and then wrap, again, similar principle, hold that flush, wrap this round, and we can also cover that overhang with more beads. And through the last one on this one, it doesn't matter that whether you've put your other beaded wire on either. There's plenty of room. They can share. They can share that eyelet there. And again, just wrapping it round. And obviously, yeah, easy to cut any excess bits that you don't need, excess wire. And you can just keep playing and rearranging those. So for the middle one, I'm just going to get some more wire. I want it to be a little bit shorter than the second one. So I'm going to cut that about there. Push that through. Going a little bit off cut the colour pathway here, being a bit of a maverick with this one because I'm going with green, which you wouldn't normally perhaps put with pink, but I wanted to use, there's my tray. These trays are also really good as well if you want to go to your bead collection and collect the beads that you want to use for your piece. So for this one, I'm going to again use these metal bits that I took off the bracelet. Have a bit of continuity there. If it doesn't quite flush up, just give it a pull. That's it. So that it's a bit more flush like the other two. Try and keep that consistency because we are creating, you know, these professional pieces. Yeah, again, just push that through. Make sure that overhang wire that we wrap around has gone through as well. And then I'm going to go for my first butterfly on this one. So I've got some sort of greeny, wanted to keep that consistency there with these. Okay, another butterfly. Lovely. Great. So how many did we have between? So I just want another. I'm going to go for this one. So 3 between each. It's 4 actually. So put another one. Oops. Another butterfly. Lovely. And then these. Just checking again that it's not too long. Yeah, and it is, I think it's a little bit long. So I'm going to take one of these beads off, just to shorten it a bit. So that's, as I say, I think it's easier if you start putting your beads on as soon as you've got, you know, putting the wires on, putting the beads on each wire as soon as you've put the eyelets on, really. Okay, so I put that on there. I think I'm going to go straight for, take that one off and go straight for my teardrop. So I can keep to my plan there. Again, hold it up, flush to the base, straighten it, wrap it round, wrap it over the top, hold it, and then start wrapping that round wrapping it around itself, this last bead. Trim that, wrap that round. Okay, great. Okay, next bit of wire. And that's about right. So I want this next wire to hopefully be the same length as this, the middle one on this piece so far. Oops. You know, so yeah, this is really simple, really easy to do. Similar, using some of the similar materials that we've used in some of the other sessions that I've done that you might have an excess of, and just looks so lovely. And as I say, it's a lovely handmade gift that most friends should be grateful for. Okay, that's a lovely spark. This is a beautiful sparkly bead, that one. There it is. A little bit more, so I want the love heart again, don't I? Yeah. And it's you know, something that you can do actually with young people. It doesn't require any really dangerous equipment. You know, obviously just requires a lot of hoovering potentially afterwards if you're using a lot of seed beads, and they go everywhere. But yeah, just a really great thing to do with a young person, as a gift idea from a young person to perhaps someone in the family. So where are we? So just want a couple of those. Great. I think I'm going to go for that teardrop one now. And I think that's pretty much right. There's one little, what time are we on? Right, okay, that's okay. Oops. So yeah, if you feel inspired, please, yeah, go back and watch the video again and share us your creations. Nice seasonal thing to do at the moment, isn't it? Something like this. Again, I'm going to chop that excess wire off. So yeah, you can see it glistening in the light. Those two middle ones, let me just hold this up. Yeah, they're pretty close. And there's just one more left to do, which I will do later. But yeah, I hope that you've got all the skills there to create your own piece. As I say, it looks lovely in any window. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope that you're inspired to go and create one of these beautiful pieces yourself. Have a good afternoon. Thank you very much.